Who wants to talk first?
I guess I can. I'm Brady. I sing for Enemy, um, and we're located in Cincinnati, Ohio. Um, yeah, we just had a single release. It was called Fake, and it's on all streaming platforms now. Um, yeah, that's all I've got. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Mike. I play guitar. And then like what Brady said, we just had a song out. Um, we got some shows coming up here in November, so looking forward to that.
Now, how did you guys come up with the name of Emmy?
So actually, Trevor and I were bouncing ideas back and forth, and he threw it out, and I was like, okay, well, how do we spell it? Because that's kind of a very common word, and we wanted to secure a lot of like web links and whatnot. So he's like, yeah, we could spell it like Corn does, Korn. Lincoln Park they don't spell theirs correctly. I was like, yeah, I kind of like that, and it puts us in that genre, which is the kind of music that we wanted to make in the first place. Um, so yeah, we were like, all right, what if we spell it Enmy? And then I did some searching, and I was like, yeah, doesn't look like there's a lot of bands or any at that time that use that spelling. So we were like, yeah, let's run with it. So
Like, here's a question
yeah.
I have. How did you guys discover your love of music?
Um, I think it just kind of like happens. You hear something and you're like, man, I really like that, and it sets something off inside of you, and you're like, yeah, I want to listen to that song again. Or um, I experienced that a lot through my nieces. They listened to the same stuff over and over and over again. They were into Frozen for a while, and now they're like, oh, be fire, be fire. So that means they want to listen to Enemy Burn. Because in our music video, my arm catches on fire, and they're like, "B, your arm's on fire." So yeah, I get to see it through them, which is awesome. They're taking a liking to music, and yeah, there's just something about music that um, grabs a hold of you, and when you find out that you can make it yourself, it's like even better. It's just a cool experience. So yeah, for me, it was probably grade school. I was in choir, um, and that was just for maybe a year or so, but that kind of set it off. And I have ADHD, so I'm always looking for an outlet for my energy. So yeah, I think that's what set it off for me. Yeah.
For me, it was probably. I was always into music. Growing up, my parents listened to a lot of oldies, 50s and 60s music, so that's actually what I grew up. Just because it's what they listen to all the time. And then once I get into high school, um, oddly enough, I listened to like punk rock first. I loved Green Day and I loved Blink 182. And then I'll actually never forget. I was leaving football practice and somebody who was in their car and they were cranking the song. And it was "Breaking the Habit" by Linkin Park. And I was like, man, what is that? That sounds so awesome. So then, like, I happened to know the guy that was playing it. So, like, when I went up and asked, he was like, oh, yeah, it's a band called Linkin Park. So, like, that night, I had my mom drive me down to Kmart so I could buy the Linkin Park album, and I literally burned that CD out. I mean, I listened to Meteora so many times, like, you would have thought that the CD was going to fall apart. And then I just discovered them as a band, and honestly, they inspired me to play. But I grew up like learning like punk rock style music because that's what I was originally into. But then it just
Yeah.
kind of like something about like drop tune guitars was just like sounded so much cooler to me because it sounded bigger and it sounded heavier. And then I started to get into like hard rock and metal, and now here we are in Enemy. So
Like, who writes the songs in the bands?
So instrumentally, we all kind of take a part, and then lyrically, it's primarily Brady. Brady will come up with everything from scratch, and then just kind of bounce ideas off of us, and then we might, give our opinion on a phrase or something like that. But overall, I mean, the songs are pieced together through a group effort, so it's actually kind of neat to be involved with something like that. But we all definitely provide feedback, and like, um, it's neat. I've always said this, but like when you listen to an Enemy song, you're truly listening to a perfect blend of all of our musical influences, like individually. So it's kind of neat to have that. But yeah, it's honestly the whole band.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it definitely started early on. Mike would send demos of stuff that he was working on. Trevor would send me like video recordings of him playing something on guitar, and I'm like, oh, that's a really cool progression. Um, and I already hear like vocal melody over top of that. So we would usually um, have some kind of beginning process like that, and now it's kind of been more streamlined. So when a song is sent over as a demo, we've kind of refined what makes our sound. So the process is a lot quicker. And they like most of the time they'll send me a demo and it sounds like it's finished already. So I'm like, okay, well, my vocals are, I have to put vocals over this. And um, a lot of the time they'll have a pretty cool foundation where it's already, I feel like it's already telling a story. Um,
Yeah,
so like with the transitions, I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool if like the story took a turn here or whatever. And then I usually bounce ideas off Mike and Trevor and see what they think. And I'm like, all right, so I'm thinking this. What do you think? What do you think about this story for this song? So
sounds cool.
Not to forget our new drummer Dave. So Dave will obviously things that you've heard so far. Dave isn't really involved with, but Dave stepped in and from day one. He's provided a lot of cool insight and kind of direction on where he wants to take things, which has been awesome. It's been an awesome opportunity to work with him so far. So yeah, it'll be fun to write with him moving forward as well.
yep.
That's exciting. I write my own stuff on the side.
Nice.
What kind of music do you write?
Like
What
spoken
genre would
word.
you say it is?
I don't say
Oh,
like
cool.
it's like indie, kind of popish, but it's like my own style.
That's cool. Yeah,
Stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
one of my friends is actually he does Deaf Poetry Jam, so he's like all about like spoken word type stuff, and he's really good at what he does. He's really good at painting a mental picture, and getting the points he wants to get across. So it's cool to see like people that you grew up with pursuing their own pursuit
Yeah,
in the arts. So that's cool. I'd like to
yeah.
check it out sometime.
It's all online on Spotify, Apple Music. It's all spread everywhere,
Nice.
and some lyric
Drop us a link
videos
and I'll
on.
check it out.
All right, all right. Who would you
Sure.
guys want to go on tour with if you got the chance to?
Oh man.
Oh, a dream tour. Go ahead, Brady. Let's hear yours.
Um,
I'm sure there's Brady
all
and I
right.
have some pretty similar tastes in music, so there might be
Yeah.
some cross.
Um, I mean, Living or Dead, I would love to go out with
It,
Linkin Park. So, they were one of the ones that were like made a big impact on me. Um, and I'm dating myself right now, but that was like the end of grade school, going into high school. Listened to them all throughout high school, and still do. But yeah, they always had a big impact on me. Another one was Breaking Benjamin. Um, so yeah, them, Breaking Benjamin. Trying to think of who like I want to say like bands that I would choose just because I would want to see them every day.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, right.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Free
Definitely
tickets to go
those.
see them every night.
Yeah, definitely those two at least, and then maybe like a rotating band for the rest of the tour. Just like have someone from that area fill in. Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely say break. So I was telling you about like my music went like so as I got into heavier music, Breaking Benjamin was one of the bands that like when that video for what is it, so cold, the one with the it's like really gray tone and they're in the water and stuff, like I saw that on YouTube and I was hooked instantly. So like yeah, bucket list for sure is Breaking Benjamin, but yeah, Lincoln Park as well, and then and I don't know, so my favorite live band to see is Chevelle. I think I've seen Chevelle probably 9 or 10 times. I just, man, I love seeing them live. I mean, I'm a huge fan of their music, but like, I almost like hearing them live more than I even do on the album. Just because of the way like Pete like screams a little bit more live, there's such an intensity to it. So yeah, yeah, I would say the same bands as Brady, and then maybe throw Chevelle in there.
Hey, yeah. Can you guys hear me by
So,
chance?
is there any bands in your city that you go would like want to go play a show with?
Yeah, we've got we're actually coming up on a show on November 11th. We're going to be playing a show with a band called Soft Spoken. Good dudes, really good dudes. I've known Sam, their singer, for over 10 years now. We used to play in like this rinky dink. It probably couldn't pass like a health inspection if if we're being honest. Um, but yeah, we used to play shows there with him. Um, so yeah, I'm just like I'd probably say them. Um, Other local bands, maybe Blackwater. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of like other bands that are similar to us or similar to what we play. That would make
Well,
sense
yeah.
for a bill.
I am pretty excited as well to play with Soft Spoken. We've like Brady said, we've known them for a while, and we've worked with their guitarist Chris. He's actually helped Enemy in the past, so there's a history there. But just genuinely being a fan of their music, it's gonna be really awesome to share the stage with those guys. Yeah, I mean, there's honestly like you'll notice something with our shows. Like every time we play like a local show or something like that, we try to always play with new bands. And it's not because we've had bad experiences. It's just because we genuinely love to meet other bands in the area and
Yeah.
honestly just like share an evening with them. So Sequoia is also going to be on this show. They're not from Cincinnati; they're from Indy, but we play with them in Indy, and I think that's probably I don't. I think they might be the first band we've ever played with twice. But we're super solid with those guys as well. So we're looking forward to playing with them again.
Oh, probably Livid actually.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Livid's a Cincinnati band.
yeah.
Also known those guys for forever. Before I could even get into bars to see their shows, I would watch videos of them online. But
And
all of them are
we did get to
super
open for them
cool
at
guys.
Halloween. That was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Cheer Up Dusty?
Who
What
is
was
it?
that?
Cheer Up Dusty. They're from
Cheer Up
Philadelphia. Yeah, they're from Philadelphia,
Oh,
but they're
I'm
really
not
good.
familiar with them.
Or
Okay. Yeah.
Is it like what kind of genre?
they're like a punk rock.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
and then have you heard of Blame Shift?
Lane Shift?
Like blamed, like
Blame Shift, I
blame.
think.
Yeah, there's a
Mm-mm.
That
lead.
sounds familiar.
There's a girl in the band, and then there's like four other guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna type those in and I'll look them up after our
But
after our
those are some
session.
good bands to listen to.
Brady, what was the name of the band that we played with in Wilmington that was from Pennsylvania? They had a girl singer, and man, she had some pipes, like she could sing.
Oh
I forget the
man,
name of their band, but we played with them. Had never heard of them. It was like a festival. Had never heard of them before the show. Um, and then they played, and yeah, it was awesome to see. I can't remember the name.
There's
We'll think of it.
so many good bands out there.
Yeah, there is.
yeah, I can't think of the band's name either. But yeah, I love a strong female lead singer.
Spirit
And
Box,
she,
man. Spirit Box is one of the
yeah,
biggest in the game right now, and they're killing it.
Do you guys have any hidden talents?
Hidden talents.
I've got a lot of stupid human tricks.
I'm a not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at bass fishing. I know that's really random, but I spend a lot of my spare time bass fishing. So if I had to have a hidden talent, I would say it was that.
And he's a pretty mean bourbon hunter as well.
I do. I don't know if you can see him in my background here, but I do tend to hunt some bourbon as well.
I'd say for me, like talents, I do graphic design. I have done, I think, all but one of our merch designs on our website. I did the logo for the band. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy graphic design and making music, and like I said, got plenty of other like stupid human tricks, like making bird noises and I don't know, just weird stuff.
One of the best things about going to the studio is our engineer will literally save sound bites, uh, like while he's working on stuff, or if we're just chatting back and forth. And Brady has a tendency to like imitate somebody, like a character or something like that, and Nick will literally just sound clip it. So it's always a treat to hear that. So I would say like the I don't know how you would say it, like voiceover improv, like voice
Yeah,
improv. There you
Um,
go. That'll
yeah,
be
what,
your hidden talent.
yeah. What usually happens is we'll like something will trigger a memory, and you're like, oh, I saw this meme the other day, or I saw this clip, and then you'll play it for him, and then I'm like, I get into that character, and I'm like, what would this character do if they were saying these lines? And then it just goes off the rails really quick. Um, but yeah, there he will leave like little Easter eggs inside of our songs when they're like unfinished versions,
oh,
and yeah, it's always hilarious.
well, do you think you
Oh,
got
that band that you
ever
were trying to think
what band?
that
Oh,
band you were trying to think of was
uh,
Eternal Frequency.
oh,
That's the one, yeah.
um, do you guys? What's like? What was it like at the like? Do you have a favorite instrument you like to use in the studio besides your voice and your guitars? Is there any? Um,
So I mean, not necessarily in the studio, but in addition to guitar, I like to play drums. Actually, so I started out playing guitar, and then my brother got a drum set, and then I realized that playing drums is more fun than playing guitar. So I started to play drums. And then for a while, I was playing drums more than guitar, and I actually filled in for a band on drums for a while. But then, I don't know. Guitar's always been my passion, so eventually I came back to it. But it's funny how often guitar players play drums and drummers play guitar. But yeah, I can
Um,
also play a mean triangle. Just gonna let you know that.
For me, it's probably anything to do with synths. Like one of my big things right now is like synthwave. Synthwaves became really popular, and I love it. Um, Stuck on like Gunship and the Midnight. It's if you haven't listened to them before, it's kind of like 80s soundtrack. So like Steven Seagal is going to go beat up the bad guy, and you hear that kind of music in the background.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, definitely into synthesizers, like old stuff, analog, where they kind of like they'll take cables and plug into different inputs to like modulate the sound and do different effects to it. So it's kind of like it's almost like a science experiment. You just like plug and play and see, you turn the knobs and you affect it and you see what comes out of it. I enjoy that kind of stuff. It's kind of nerdy, but I think it's cool.
Yeah. I like most of the songs that I've recorded, they're mostly like alternative, but they're like like a they're all digital. So I mean, there's some piano parts are in there, but it's mostly all digital. But it's cool though.
Like synthesizer type stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
every once in a while I'll hop into either Logic or GarageBand and just mess around. Like, okay, this time I'm gonna focus on making an interesting drum beat, or this time I want to do something that's in a different genre or different vein, just to stay creative. And sometimes those ideas can trigger other ideas for the rest of the people. So for the rest of the guys.
what's your favorite
Brady
song on?
Brady is notorious. Well,
Oh,
I'll tell you this story. In addition to, so I think you said not singing, but do voice memos count? So that's actually how some of our songs get started. Is Brady will literally send us a text of a voice memo of him like humming a beat or a melody, and then it'll be like, "Oh, that would be sick." So that's like
Yeah,
how some of the songs get started.
I've got
So
almost 300 voice memos in my phone
yeah,
just because I like it's easier for me to do that than to try and program something out in one of those DAWs. I'm just like, okay, I know what I want. And actually that was something that I learned from a video online. It's like if you like mouth out what you want, you can record yourself and then go back and play over top of your voice, turn that off, and then do the next layer that way. So it's for someone that's like wanting to, they get kind of stuck or they lose their way when they're trying to make something. They're like, oh, I had this really cool idea, but I lost it. That's a really good way of getting that out and fleshing it out so you don't lose the idea. Because there's been plenty of times where I'm like, oh, this is a really cool lyric. I'm going to remember that. There's no way I'm going to forget that lyric because it's so cool. And then I forget it 5 minutes later. So it's definitely, I would recommend voice notes.
it works.
have you guys ever had your song played on it like a TV show?
Not on a TV show. At least not that
Oh,
not
yeah.
that we're aware of. But we did have a song featured on a video game. There's a PlayStation and PC video game called Blood Hunt. It's like a vampire game, and we were approached about writing a song for the Booyah clan on that game, which was a really fun experience because we got to write a song from scratch uh, with like that concept and theme in mind, which is a really cool experience. And I'm not gonna lie, I grew up playing Halo, which featured one of my favorite bands, Breaking Benjamin. So that was a huge bucket list thing for at least me to be a part of that. So that was awesome.
Exciting. I
Yeah.
mean, that would be awesome to have a song played on a like a local TV show that you really watched back in the day.
I mean, hey, I'm a huge The Office fan, so If you want to do some Enemy during Dwight's karate scenes, I am all for it.
Yeah, I actually sent a video to the guys just the other day of I think it was some Ghostbusters, I don't know,
Oh yeah.
spin off with the kids, like one of the kids from Stranger Things. And I put one of our songs in the background of it, like for the trailer. I'm like, dude, how sick would this be? Just as like
Actually,
a goofy thing. Because yeah, I don't know. Just
it was awesome.
Where
but
do
yeah,
you
always
guys
thinking about that.
where do you guys see yourself in 10 years? Or whatever.
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I know where I would like to see myself.
Yeah.
I'd like to see myself, having a career in music, meeting up with the guys every day or every other day to work on music, and having that being the center point. Um, being on tour, um, hanging out in the tour bus, grilling out. We already do a lot of grilling out as it is, but yeah, I think that's the most fun. Just hanging out with the guys and meeting new people, um, and like meeting people that support us. We've actually got one person that I used to work with. She's driving in from New Jersey to come to that November 11th show. And I think, those kind of experiences are what make this what it is. Um, and even when they're not good experiences, like when we were like, hey, we got offered a tour with Eyes Set to Kill, and it starts in Texas. And it was in the middle of July, and we were like, the only option that we have, every other option was exhausted. We couldn't use any rentals. We couldn't find anything. We used up all of our lifelines. Um, our manager at the time was like, hey, I've got this van, you can use it, you can try to drive it down there. I'm not saying it'll make it, and it also doesn't have AC. So we drove, well, Trevor drove, I think, the whole 15 hours down there, and we played the first show in Texas, and then we just kind of we kept giving that thing CPR. It was dying on us. But even that, I was like, we can sit at home this weekend and miss this tour, or like we could break down somewhere in Texarkana, but it'll still be, we're still in pursuit of it. We're still like trying to make it happen, and if it goes wrong, we have a story. So and that's always kind of been the mentality, um as far as that goes. It's just like, we have plenty of stories that we bring up over and over again, like, oh yeah, you remember when we stopped here, and you remember when Jack got out of the van and ordered ordered 2 corn dogs and 3 burritos. So yeah, it's stuff like that. It's I don't know, it's variety, it's the spice of life. um but yeah.
Ironically enough, we had just released our EP before that tour, titled "Breaking Down," and then the band broke down. I mean, so from my side for the 10 years, it's like what Brady said, but we've already had this discussion. So like when we're not touring, we're gonna rent some cabin somewhere and then have our whole crew come in, and we're just gonna lock ourselves in this cabin for like a month, just write, drink bourbon, and hang out. Because I think that honestly, like for us, I think that's when we're at our best and our most creative, is when we're relaxed and we're just hanging out. Because then it's like all the ideas come out, and that's when things really get fun. So yeah, I don't know. It would just be tight to be able to pursue music full time, in whatever capacity that looks like. But like I said, like Brady had said, the best part is honestly just the experiences. And I mean, my favorite part of music, I mean, touring's awesome, playing shows is awesome. After every show that we play, we always hang out at our merch booth, and we'll continue to try to do that for as absolutely long as we can. Because like Brady said, we just love meeting people and hearing about. I mean, I know how like Linkin Park songs made me feel when I first heard them. So to hear people telling that kind of stuff to me about our music is like literally surreal, and it will never get old. But for me personally, like being in this recording studio and like creating that stuff, that's the best. Like there's a rush that comes with hearing something played back for the first time, and you're like, oh yeah, that's it. That's the take. So hopefully that's the case in 10 years.
Let me. That's good. Do you guys have any? Well, you said you had some shows coming up. So where are you guys playing at?
So November 11th, we're playing at the Madison Theater. It's actually about 10 minutes away from where Brady and I live. Brady and I live one exit apart from each other. And then so it's a hometown local show. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of familiar faces there. I'm looking forward to that. And then on like 4 days after that, the following Wednesday, we're playing in Louisville, Kentucky, which is going to be at Headliners Music Hall, opening up for Vended. So we're looking forward to that as well. Those are the only two shows that we have scheduled for this year, and probably will be the only two shows we play this year unless something comes out of nowhere. But we're looking forward to playing a lot and getting out there in 2024. We've had I don't even want to count how many messages we've had on Instagram and Facebook about playing here, playing there, and we've done a couple posts asking where people want us to play. So we've heard all that loud and clear, and if it's possible for us to land a show in these areas, we're going to do it. Like Brady said, that tour with I Set to Kill, getting into Texas and like seeing people singing our songs in the crowd in Texas is crazy because you just don't feel like that's possible, and then you do. So we definitely want to get back up the road.
Yeah, for sure.
Where can people listen to your music at?
Pretty much any streaming platform there is. I think we'd be hard pressed to find one that we're not on. So Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal. What's the one
We
for
also have
Amazon Music?
Yeah, and then we also have music videos on YouTube and on Apple Music and Tidal, I believe. So be sure to check those out as well. We just did a video that was actually a lot of fun with JECP out of Columbus for our video Fake, which is on YouTube as well.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to do this with me.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
And don't forget to send me the link. I want to hear some of your spoken word.
I will. I'll send it to you after I put all this on every platform I can.
Cool.
So I'll let you guys know when it's up and all. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for having us, Daniel.
Yep. Have a good one. Appreciate it.
You too.
See ya.
Thanks.